Hello, Qui-Gon, Swamp Rats, and anyone else. Trevin's back. Today we're going to be doing a video on Galactic War, which I know is a cause of frustration for many of you. And I know that sometimes just say to use resistance isn't always that helpful, can probably be infuriating. On there, if you don't have resistance, what I would say is that resistance does really make Galactic War extremely easy. It's also one of the best battles, or one of the best teams in territory battles. Even with a pretty weak resistance squad, you can go 6 to 6 in every phase for those combat waves. But with all the different farming going out there right now, Captain Han, um, every single different tune that's in Cantina, now even ships and hard nodes, I know that farming those, plus the Zeta that you need, might not be the easiest thing. So I'm going to try to give some tips on Galactic War. Maybe you already know these, maybe you're already using these, and they're just not working for you. That I don't know, but I'm just going to load you up with everything that I have. What I would say is for those that are struggling with Galactic War on there, you're not alone, first off, and second, all of us have been there at some point. Galactic War used to take a lot longer. It used to take like an hour or more every single day. And maybe it does for you right now, unfortunately, but it used to be you had to use pretty much every character that you had, and then it was a pretty big accomplishment to get it done every day. But we'll go through some different stuff. The one thing I would say on there is that it is a war, not a battle. So often I see people post their Node 12 team, and it's a much stronger team than they may have had. But the question I always have on that to myself is, what happened in that previous war? Because you can give yourself an advantage. Doesn't mean you're always going to win, but you can give yourself an advantage on there going into that. So even if they outpower you, you can take in a weaker squad and still have good luck there. I am a believer that every war is winnable. I haven't been proven false on that yet. In my own experience, your experience might be different, but it's just a matter of how long, how much time you want to put into it, and what kind of patience you have. So we're just going to go over some tips on here. I'm going to go through this kind of fast because it is Galactic War, so this video will be fairly long. I will try to load as many of the tips in the beginning as possible, so if you don't feel like watching an entire Galactic War, you can still get something from it, hopefully. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off, we're going to select a squad here. Alright, so I'm not going to be using Luke or Raidhan for this because I know that a lot of you don't have them if you're struggling Galactic War. If you are struggling, if you do have them, maybe you're not struggling at all. So we're going to that top team there. We're going to ignore that on there, and we're going to go through a few different things. The important thing in Galactic War is to preload your turn meter. That's just get as many teams as you can with turn meter, so that when you go into one of those tough nodes, your guys are going first. Maybe you can take out a tank or a character first, or if your team just can't do it, that's going to give their team turn meter, but you've got another one coming in to try to equal that turn meter so that they can't do the exact thing to you, just take you out before you even move. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to load up what I like to call a sustain team. A sustain team is a team that can get you through all those lousy nodes without losing protection or health from your main teams. So they're a team you don't really care about the characters that much, but they're a team that can go through weaker teams without really losing anything off of them. A couple different sustain teams I'm going to show you. One is this Tebow team right here. So this was a team that back in the day before mods and tenacity up and foresight and everything was everywhere, this was a team that could make it through the entire Galactic War on there. They're still a really good sustain team. They just don't have the output to take on the new CLS teams or with Chura with his tenacity up, anything like that. The idea there was that you're going to stun a bunch of people with Daka, RG, Kylo. You're going to remove turn meter. You're going to prevent counters with Tebow, and then you've got a Dispel in Tebow plus a Cleanse and a Heal in Elder, and then a Revive in Daka and Elder if things go wrong on there. We may use this team later. It's a really boring team to run, but we're going to start off with our sustain team. We're going to start off with our Phoenix squad. They're a squad that pretty much everyone has right now between the territory battles and the Thrawn events on there. We're using Ezra. Ezra is the only character that's worth a crap. Or at least I shouldn't say that. The only character that I have that's worth a dang on there. You can see he's gear 11. Everyone else is gear 7 to gear 8 on there. Did get me a 7-star Thrawn, so kudos to them. The mods on them aren't the best. What you'll see on here, the mods on a lot of these teams aren't the best. Most I've loaded with speed arrows, things like that. But let's get it started. All right. Let's load this up. And I'm not going to do this full battle because I'm going to show you something really quick right away on there. And that's Galactic War is based on seeds. So when you load up a team, the enemy's movements are already preloaded based on what you're going to do. So you'll hit or miss, the exact same way every single time to start off with, and they will hit back the same character for the same damage every single time. So if you've got a war that isn't going your way or a battle that's not going your way, you can backing out and redoing it isn't going to help. It's going to happen the same thing. If you change what you do by quite a bit, then you can change how they respond and how that seed works. If you change what you do slightly, normally what you're going to find is that it may delay it or it may happen different. But for say, if they kill Chopper, they may just kill Chopper 2 turns later because everyone's still focused on Chopper. So the easiest thing to do is to switch out a character on there, and then that will change that seed and you'll get different results. So sometimes you need to experiment on there. It can also help if you count your moves. As far as, if I know I do this, I do this, I do this, and I do this, and then they kill Kanan. Okay, what happens if I try this? So you've got some room for experimentation, and that's really where it gives you the advantage. And just to give you an example on this, we're going to attack Leia here with Chopper. So we did 1,741 damage. Let's go with Ezra, dodged, and then Chopper did 1,900 damage. Let's retreat. And this is a big thing. If you don't know about this little gear up in the upper left-hand corner, you click that, you hit retreat. Boom, nothing happened. That didn't save. So let's load this exact same battle up. And what we're going to see is that the exact same thing happens again. I hit Chopper, 1741. He's going to miss. Chopper's going to assist for 1933. You see the exact same thing happens. Let's retreat. And now if we pull in, let's just say we put in R2 on there, you're going to notice that all these numbers change and what happens changes. Obviously, R2, now Chopper's hitting for different. You see Chopper crit there. You can see that changed. All right, we're going to go back to Ezra. I just wanted to give an example of that on there. One thing I hear people say on there is, I didn't have time to quit. The enemy was going so much I couldn't retreat. I would say to that, if you can only use that little gear if it's your turn, just force quit your app. On iOS, on iPhone, just double click your home button. That's going to give you the option to swipe up on there and force quit. On Android, most you just swipe up from the bottom of the screen, and then you go to your multitasking. You can force quit that way. All right, so let's get this battle started. All right, let's do this with Ezra. We don't want to, use a ton of these skills so that they're on cooldown. I'm going to use some, obviously. We don't want to get hurt too bad on there, but what we're really looking to do is just get these guys turn meter. Let's keep Elder from reviving. The idea here is that we will have our skills back and we'll be pretty, we'll have most of our protection and stuff like that. The nice thing about, no, we're not going to do that. The nice thing about Phoenix is that they can really gain their protection back really easily. That's why we're using them as a sustain team. That's not what we wanted to have happen. But it doesn't matter. This is a weak enough team, and that's why we loaded them up to begin with here. Just so even though we're using a weak team, we can kind of blitz through them really quick. And you can see, Phoenix, they're lacking in damage, obviously. I'm struggling to kill Ewok Elder for crying out loud, but they're not taking any damage either. That's what we like about them. That's where they're nice for a sustain team. And we're going to give Chopper some of his protection back there. We'll get through this battle, and I apologize. I know it's a boring battle. We'll get to some more fun teams here in a moment. Not even a stun there, Zeb. Come on. All right, so we've got one team preloaded with turn meter, our sustain team. This is a team we're going to use to get us through, the nodes like 7, 8, 10 maybe, things like that, nodes that aren't R6, R9, R11, and R12. I will say going into this that yes, I do have an easy node 12, so I can't really show you that, but we'll just pretend that node 11 is node 12 on there. All right, so we've got one team loaded with turn meter. Now what we want to do is we want to load up another one. So now we want to go to one of our more powerful squads on there. This is a squad that we might have to use on node 6, node 9, node 10, node 11, one of those. And we want them to go in with a lot of turn meter so they can just kind of get in and decimate pretty quickly. All right, so let's load up our Jedi. Qui-Gon does have his Zeta in there. You may not have all of these teams, and that's fine on there. This is just an example of things to do. Obviously, more teams are really going to help you out, but this just gives you an idea of with the teams that you do have to do it. Because you're probably saying, yeah, I wish I had 12 teams on there. Well, you will, so, you'll get there. But just whatever teams you have for the strong teams, load those up with the turn meter so you can use those later. Let's see if we can stun 5s. That's what we like to see. All right, now we're going to call an assist with Qui-Gon, and I'm going to show you something here for assist characters that a lot of people don't know on there. So let's see who Qui-Gon calls for his assist first off. Okay, he called Ezra. Ezra is clearly who we want for him to call an assist on there in that situation. But let's say he called someone else and we wanted him to call Ezra. There's an easy fix for that. So now we know he's going to call Ezra. But see, he calls it assist. Assist callers call by a position in the battle, not by the actual character. So if we switch Anakin and Ezra's position, this time he's going to call Anakin instead, because Anakin is now in that position that Ezra was. Get that stun there, and then Qui-Gon is going to call. Oh, he called Anakin. Surprise, surprise. Simple as that. All right. Let's get our foresight up. We'll save JC just so we can use that in their foresight. Let's try to stun Biggs. Nope. But a dodge is almost as good. More foresight. Yeah, go ahead and heal. Dodge. All right. Chewie's going to taunt because that's what Chewie does. Unless you happen to put a Zeta on him and then he just melts faces. That was a shout out to you. You know who you are. Don't Zeta Chewie. Okay, so now we've got turn meter on our Jedi. Not the standard Jedi team that I would run. I'd like to see R2 in there for sure, but we're going to be using R2 all over the place, so. All right, we've got turn meter on Jedi. Let's load up another team. Let's load up Maul. Again, this is Zeta Maul. You may not have all these Zeta teams, but I think you get the idea on there. Why we're doing this, why we're showing this. We're not even going to use her little move first. So we don't really need to this early in the game. Or this early in the war. Alright, let's get Maul going. There we go. Let's use it now. Get them some turn meter. Look at that AoE on cooldown. You want to make sure that you don't, especially with Nihilus, that you don't have his AoE on cooldown when you end one of these battles, because you very well may need that later. Let's take down, what's his face? Alright. We'll leave Kylo there for last. And you can see we've taken some damage with this team. No doubt about that. But that's alright. Kylo's going to counter. There we go. Alright, we took a little bit of damage, but we're not too worried about that. These guys, there's kind of like an assassin team. Get in, hit it, quit it, take out some characters, maybe Nihilus. He's got turn meter charged up there, so he can do an early AoE and maybe get off that Annihilate quick. If we need to, we can just use that to take down one character, And the nice thing about, so Maul's got crazy health steal, so his protection. Palpatine's pretty weak, but he's also got some pretty crazy health steal with his special. on there. So let's load up another team. Let's go with our rebels here. Now, Lando's probably not a character that you're going to be using against most teams, like CLS teams. He's just going to get himself killed and give everyone crit immunity on there. And Stormtrooper Han is not a great tank anymore. He just doesn't have enough health on there to last, but we're still in some pretty easy nodes, so we're just going to load up some turn meter here. Let's take down Dooku, that countering fool. Down. Alright. Let's get Lando going. And again, we're going to take some damage here, and we're okay with that. We'll have Biggs this thing on cooldown, but that's not really a big deal. Alright, so another team that's got turn meter loaded. And again, we might not use all those characters, but we can make various teams with them loaded up. Let's see, do we have another team we want to load turn meter with? Rex. You know what, how about we do a little dark side team on there. Someday I will get around to putting Death Trooper up to 7 stars, actually promoting him, but 3 stars will work here. Oh, I see a Rey. Let's take down Rey. Let's I don't want those counters on there. I don't even remember what his abilities do. It's been so long since I've done them. Can we maybe get Rey? No, we can't even kill Rey. Obviously I don't have. Now this is Zeta on there. Stupid Savage. And again, we're going to take some damage here, but stupid Lumi lead. Nothing too major on there. You can see we're not taking much. Good lord. Such low damage. Again, and a lot of this is just a fault of having our mods aren't very good on there. You can see Thrawn's got decent mods. He's running an offense set, so he actually hit decently hard. Everyone else is not so much. But we have a team loaded with turn meter. Nice little team. They've got 2 AoE cooldowns. Cooldown increases with Nihilus and Death Trooper there. Okay, let's see what. Alright, we got a CLS team. Woohoo. Oh, we got a Zeris Kenobi, but Kenobi isn't lead. Alright. We've got R2 on there, so we don't really want to run Maul on there. Let's try our Rebel team and just see if we can burn through these guys. We may not. We may need to try a different team, or we may need to switch things up. But we're going to give it a shot on there. Probably should have R2 in this team since we have Leia, and we probably should have taken out Lando, but let's see what happens. That's cute. Thanks, Leia. Really appreciate everything you do. We're not even going to bother with that right now. We're probably going to have to put R2 in, but yeah. See, Lando did absolutely nothing there. So we're going to load this one back out. And that's just, Lando used to be so good. That's just an idea now of how he's really not. And again, this is experimentation. Let's do like this first attack first. Really appreciate everything she did there. Hi, $J. All right. Let's get it moving on him there. All right. Let's see if we can take down the old Kenobes. This is going great. We're not going to give everyone crit immunity right now, so we're not going to do that. All right. Back to Kenobi. Kenobi's down, yay. Let's do an AoE. She's still stealth? Yes. Probably should have re-stealthed her, but whatever. That's what we're looking for. Nice stun there. Lousy mods mean I don't crit. Completely screwed up that sequence, no doubt about it. You can tell I don't use Leia much. That was expected. Yay. Work on R2 while we have the stealth up. Counters. Try to stun him. R2's down. Okay, let's take out Thrawn. Good, he put it on R2, no biggie there. Stealth here, so no counters. He's going to counter like crazy unless we kill him. Boom. Alright. So we got through a pretty tough battle. One that this team really didn't have a whole lot of business winning, especially with the mods that they have on them. And they had no real tank on there. We lost Stormtrooper Han. So not really a big deal right there. We are, at least with my roster, we're perfectly okay with losing Stormtrooper Han on there. Maybe he's a bigger deal to you, and then that's when you would want to try something else or try to reload that battle. But I'll be honest, he's probably not a tank that's going to usually make it through a Galactic War. He just doesn't have enough health on there. All right. So how are our protection levels? So we've got Wedge, Leia, Biggs without protection. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a little hybrid team. We're going to let these guys refresh their cooldown on this easier Node 7. And we're going to give them some protection back. And there's a couple ways we can do that. We can use Ahsoka on there. Since when she does her basics, she grants a random ally that doesn't have protection up, protection up. But we're not going to use her because I know a lot of people don't have her. So we're going to scroll down this list and we're going to keep scrolling until we find the characters that we're looking for. And we are looking for Zeb and Kanan. Why Zeb and Kanan on there? Because whatever ability it is, it's not that. Might be that. Kanan grants himself and another target ally foresight and protection up 40% for 2 turns. No, I don't think he does that without a Zeta. Yeah, so he grants another target ally protection up 40% for 2 turns. So that's going to expire during the battle, but if we use that towards the end of the battle and they end that battle with that 40% up, they're going to keep that going into the next battle. And then Zeb does the same thing. Honor Guard, probably. Zeb and target ally gain protection up 50% for 2 turns. So we're going to run them in there to try to get our protection back with our rebel heroes. Alright, so let's take out Yoda because he's stupid. Love you, Yoda. And again, that wasn't nice. We want to get our cooldowns back here, so we're not going to use that move right away because we want to make sure that it lasts until the end. We have no chance of taking out ETH, as we all know. So, alright, so 50% up for 2 turns. We're going to wait one more turn on that. And then same with his. Grants himself another target ally protection up for 2 turns. So we're going to wait one more turn on that again. Might have made a mistake there by waiting too long. Let's give that to Leia's probably not necessarily want to give it to. We're going to give it to Biggs. Alright. Forgot Biggs. We didn't get Kanan's off. That's no big deal because we waited too long. So we're so nervous on there. But we can do it again. And now if we look at Biggs, hey, Biggs has protection back. Wow, looky there. He got some protection back, approximately 40% of his protection. So we're going to try to do this again to get them back a little bit, back in the action again. Alright, so Rey's our what we're worried about there. Let's take Rey down. And let's take down Vader, or try to. Appreciate it, Leia. Everything that you do. Ouch. And we're going to give Leia some protection here just so she doesn't, something stupid doesn't happen and she dies. We could always stealth with her as well, but here we go. There's our stun. Leia's going to stealth so she can shoot 5s. Got a couple shots in at least. Let's give Kanan that taunt so 5s can shoot him. So we don't care about him, nearly as much. Alright, let's see if we've got anyone now that can give some protection back. If we don't kill Chewie. We're going to kill Chewie. That's okay. Let's see how we ended that battle. Probably worse for wear. My little strategy probably didn't work out there at all. There we go. That's what we're looking for. That's that meta team. That's what you're going to see in Arena. Hey, at least we got some protection out of it. So there was a slight net gain there. Let's get R2 back in there. This battle's a little bit harder. Let's see what happens if we throw in Kenobi. Try to make it through this node 9. There goes Hob. Appreciate all that you do. Son of a bitch. Anyway. No stun. Let's get some counters up. Great. But at least we can counter. Alright. That's not what we wanted at all. This is going terribly. So we're going to try something else. As you can see, we can just back right out of there. We can try something else. Let's see how our Jedi do there. We may have to put in R2 with the Jedi, but let's see what we can do here with them. Stuns Anakin, no big deal. He called Kenobi. We don't really want him to call Kenobi. So, who should we have him call? We could have him call Aayla, or we could have him call Ezra. Let's take out Kenobi there. Put Kenobi back in. And hopefully I didn't just put them back in the exact same spots. I didn't really think to look there. He called Ezra. Ezra did okay. This is where we could really use R2 on there. At least we get that buff immunity. No stun. Really appreciate it. Let's try. See if we can. There's a stun. Oh, that's not what we wanted. We were kind of hoping to call that assist with Kenobi's. Nice dodge. A really, yeah, that's great. See, these guys just don't have the mods on them to really deal enough damage to take a team like this down. All right. So now we were trying to see if we could sneak by on that one. We can't. We're going to take out Aayla. We're going to put in R2. You can just see this is just trial and error on there. Maybe you have a team that can just blitz through this, but for the most part, this is just trial and error. All right. Let's. They don't have an R2, so let's get our counters up on there. For the love of Pete, let's stun him. All right. And let's call. Anakin's gonna miss with his first one. Got Kenobi again. Wow. Wicked. Wicked sauce. This would be a time when we may want to redo this, or we're just because we're going to try something else on there. See what happens if maybe instead of using Kenobi's his retribution first time, Maybe we use his assist and see what happens. Saw that coming. So this is an example of how things can change. And I understand you're like, yeah, this is what we go through and we don't have CLS, things like that. It's just a matter of finding that right kind of RNG on there. So let's run this one again, see if we can do anything with this team. All right. Go. We've got everyone up, so let's... Just not the damage that we were looking for. Absolutely not. I believe Thrawn's just going to keel him. Nope. Go straight for Kenobi. So see, we've already changed that on there. Last time before, Thrawn was healing him. So let's try to see if we can get a buff immunity on him. That was a dumb move. If we can take down Hob, that's going to help us a lot. Alright, we're doing better than we were before. Anakin is not stealth. We really should have used Anakin's AoE when he was stealth. See what happens when I don't pay attention. That's going to hurt because the foresight doesn't matter as long as he is stunned. Let's see, can we... Of course we called R2. We really should have used that somewhere else, but we're just trying to kill Kenobi. There we go. We got some foresight. Ooh, yeah. Alright. Let's see what we can do on Luke. That's not what we wanted. We wanted a crit there. Lower turn meter at least. Kenobi's going to die. Boom. Oh, maybe we can take out Luke. The stun. Yay. Alright. See, this battle is, again, we lost Kenobi. Kenobi's a pretty big piece to lose, but it could be a lot worse there. Let's see if we can't get R2 some health there. Cleanse himself. There we go. Stun. Nice dodge. The crit first. Cleanse. Ow, that hurt. Get him some foresight. Yes. Alright, so we... Oh, just had to get that parting shot in, didn't he? Well, I mean, it's fitting that Thrawn took out Ezra. That's fitting. So our Jedi team has been severely weakened. Oh, there, no Kenobi, no Ezra. We still have Aayla that we can run. But I think our important thing there is that we made it through Node 9 on there, and we still have a good amount of teams left on there. So if we look, we still have somewhat of a Jedi team. We still have our Sith team. We haven't even gotten into like our Rex team. We've got our Wedge team. We've got droids that we can still throw on there, and we still have our dark side team. Now again, I know you may not have all these teams, but I hope that this kind of gives you an example of how weaker teams can take on stronger teams if they have the turn meter, if you're willing to back out, go back in, find that right thing there. Because we went on that battle from not even touching them to we took them all down, a full G12 gold team. We lost Kenobi, we lost Ezra at the end. That sucks, but just by moving some pieces around, by retrying certain things, we were able to take that team down. Alright, so we're getting near the end of our war, which is good because this video is running pretty long on there. So, let's try... Kenobi's gone. Yeah, these guys don't really need... We don't really need to do much with them on there. They're pretty much old news. But let's see if we can't... We'll throw in a Phoenix here. We'll throw in Ahsoka. No, we said we were going to use Ahsoka because a lot of people don't have them. So we'll throw in a Phoenix quick here. See if we can rev anyone up. Chopper, we'll get there eventually. There's Zevicles. Alright. Let's get some folks in protection on there. Stupid Rex. This may go a lot worse than what it should. I didn't actually look at the team before we started there, just because we have no dispel whatsoever. Yeah, this is stupid. So see, that's don't keep that battle. I see a lot of people keep that battle on there. So let's roll in our Jedi. Now we have to go down and we have to find Aayla. But Qui-Gon's gonna have that dispel right away. That's what we're looking for. And then we can dodge Vader's nonsense because we have Jedi on there. I forgot who I was looking for. I'm just kind of scrolling the list. Oh, let's put in Old Ben. He's a Jedi. He can do some stuff on there. Do we need a healer? Should we run R2? Nee. You know what? Let's throw in Chirrut. Let's see what happens if we use Chirrut. I apologize if you don't have Chirrut, but I think most people probably have Chirrut now. At least in some fashion. Rex is going to go next, so stunning anyone else is just going to trigger Rex's thing either way, so that doesn't really matter there. Alright. Let's see what we should do. Vader is going to miss. Well, he's still going to nail a couple people with that, so let's make him miss it. We did not hit Rex with that, so Rex is now becoming our main target there. Stun on Rex. Love you, Rex. Short Trooper can't do his thing. Oh, another stun. Tenacity up. Suck it, Vader. Jared owns you. La la la. Now we're just gonna finish this off nice and calmly. The big stun. Look at Aayla's just MVP in this. Qui-Gon's getting pretty hurt over there, which is making Anakin mad. But we've got Chirrut, so as long as Chirrut's not going to go before, Qui-Gon's probably going to die. Let's taunt it up. But we gave him the foresight. Suck it! See if we can land a stun. Nope. Sucks. Probably should have removed that with Qui-Gon, but no big deal. There's our stun. That's what we wanted to see. Now can we stun him to keep him from taunting? Nice. Apologize, I know this is not the most exciting video on there. I just wanted to kind of give a run through. I would feel bad if I'm giving tips and I'm not, and people are struggling with Galactic War. Galactic War is a huge part of the game. Most people I see that don't have credits to level people, it's almost always they're also not finishing their Galactic War, or sometimes not even trying on there. So I see people like, I need a credit heist, I need a credit heist. Well, yeah, you do. I agree. There's a lot of credits are needed, but you also need to finish your Galactic Wars if you can. All right, so now we've come to my Node 12, and I know that you have another team, a whole another team to go through after this. You know, if you're not getting that broken Node 12. So I apologize for that. I know some of this stuff is easier, and I'm not trying to say like, oh yeah, it's so simple to do. You know, without using CLS or Raid Han, I definitely had a much harder time on there. Without using Resistance, I definitely had a much harder time. But hopefully some of these tips will help you be able to finish your Galactic Wars, or at least feel less frustrated on there. All right, so how do we want to approach this team on there? So we don't necessarily want a lot of crits on there, but what we need to do is we definitely need to take down Barriss. We just don't have the power to get through that, so we're going to do this. You notice I had this team as one of my preload teams I didn't use, and I didn't have Baze in there, which would make sense with Chirrut. The reason I didn't have Baze in there is Baze has an opening taunt. Same reason I shouldn't have used Stormtrooper in my Empire team, because of that opening taunt. But Baze has an opening taunt. We don't want to give him turn meter on there. So what we're going to try to do is protect Nihilus till Nihilus can take down someone important. Kenobi or Barris or whatever here. Alright, so we're just going to start, we're going to get to work on Kenobi. Alright, we've only got one debuff. I think we only increased one cooldown. Yeah, yes, we suck. Not going to use Rex's thing quite yet on there, just because that's going to make him go quicker. Now this is when we're going to pop Baze's thing here for sure. Do we need tenacity up? No. We kind of want some debuffs so Rex can give us that turn meter. There's some debuffs. Few too many debuffs, but again, we're just kind of stalling. We're buying time for Nihilus here, who's just going to lower his cooldown by 1 right there. We're just going to kind of keep hitting Kenobi to keep him from taunting. That way, if we need to, then we can smack Barris around with our Nihilus. Nothing to do there. There's another one. That's what we like to see. Sure, it can heal Baze, which is going to make Baze taunt. Boom. Again, I apologize if we don't have Chase, but I think by this point, most people probably do. So we just neutered this team. It doesn't even matter if we win this battle now on there, because we have very little offense left. Especially once Nihilus, if Nihilus happens to go down. But we just neutered this team pretty good so that another team can just come in pretty easily and mop this up. They still have Luke, they still have Thrawn, so they can still pretty easily kill us. But that was our main goal. No. And maybe we can get off a second Annihilate on there. That sucked. Let's see if Rex's special is up at some point. Boom, get Turret going. Ah, he's going to miss. That's terrible. We're not going to be able to stun. Oh, we did stun Thrawn. Do that in R2. At this point, he's going to die. That's fine. Nihilus can get another AoE off, maybe. Nope. It's all over, folks. He's not going to get that Annihilate off. Oh, looky there. Dun dun dun. Simple as that. Okay. So again, this is not what I would advise you to do if you had, a Node 12 sitting behind this. But this is my Node 12. So the reason we did this is because this is the last battle that you have to care about on there. So you can do stuff like that. I would advise normally if, this was your Node 11, you had another Node 12 sitting back there, finding a better sequence of events on there. At this point, oops. Let's bring in our Sith, mop up Kenobi. There's still R2. We still see, perfect. Get that Daze on there. Dead. We even stun Thrawn again. Not even sure how that's happening. Oh, I'm sure he doesn't have his Zeta. Discipline off. Okay, so we'll do the Node 12 if you don't know what a broken Node 12 is. I'll show you that on there, but this is just some tips and tricks on there. Again, I know it's tough, and you may not have the teams to run through this, but when you do have the teams, hopefully this will help on there. If this doesn't help, I'm sorry. I would say do your best on there, but again, you have the advantage is that you can preload things on there. And I guess I should highlight that a little bit more if you don't know what a broken node 12 is. A broken node 12 is when you get the green and the blue gear characters or the white gear. It just means there's a power rating on there. Each node has a percentage of your power. We don't know exactly where that power comes from, but we have a pretty good idea. Like if you load up your node 1 with your strongest team, if they can't hit that percentage of that power, it's like 129%, it kind of resets and it just goes to a really weak team on there. All right, that's Galactic War. If you made it all the way to the end, as always, ask for your cookie. I know it's a really long video. If you only watched the beginning, you're not hearing this anyway, but hopefully you picked up some tips and tricks on there. Anyway, if there's any videos out there, if you made it to the end here, there's any videos out there, anything you'd like to see, send me a direct message or give me a tag, and I will do my best. All right, thanks, guys.